Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
What was said? Really, Kazuma, I didn't mean to drag you in this. I'm sorry. Haha, there you go. I get a pot just like always. Okay. Well, I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it. Did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, officer. I could never... Wasn't I holding the gun? Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Didn't Nick, in like one of the later games, also get accused of like killing someone? And like you had to defend him? Oh, that's the flashback for Miya, right? Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma, truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I don't know why, but I really struggled with that word, and I don't know why. I'm really happy for you, I'm proud, as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. It's a bandana. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Even in video games, I can't escape Britain. It's the worst. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. And then I shoot someone, and he's like, what the fuck? It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Oh, I recognize this girl. This girl's the like the partner girl of this game. Yeah, I recognize this girl. I don't know if this guy's on the box art. I remember seeing her. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is a super weird origin story for the protagonist of Konosuba. I'm gonna be honest. Look at this guy's mustache. Holy shit! Look at this. This is fucking insane. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. Dude, I hope I don't fuck up any of these names. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. We're BFFs. As such, I feel you should know. He's gay. Asagi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you are unaware of this. I had a feeling Asagi might have chosen not to tell you. So you decided to fucking tell me? What happened to respecting people's privacy? He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas duty. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favourable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true, nevertheless. I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain... Oh boy. Oh god. There's too many letters. Peculiarities about today's trial. Holy shit. I couldn't get through that word. Sorry, what do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But, then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? And what will the question be? Surely not. You accept the accusations brought before you. Of course not. Defendant. Court is about to begin. Proceed. Is this guy setting me up? Ah, it would seem our surreptitious discussions had to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asagi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. I have to defend myself? Is that what he's suggesting? This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dream of studying abroad are over, and what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what I'm doing, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Should I do voices for different characters? I'm not really good at voices though, is the problem. And just speak normally for my character, Ryunosuke. Mr. Naruhodo. Supreme Court of... I can't read this fucking word. Judicature? Judicature? How do you pronounce this? I hate the English language. God, look at this face! Holy shit, I look like I've done fucking edibles. So this is a courtroom. Judicature. Judicature. What? I don't much like the look of these people sitting in the public gallery. Jesus, that is fucking ominous. Because you can't see their eyes. It looks like I want to be fucking shot by a firing squad. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? If you get pronounced guilty, they'll instantly shoot you. I mean, I kind of want to see that, I'm going to be honest. No. 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 He looks just like that guy. He looks just like that guy. Pain. Yeah, he looks just like him. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He looks exactly like him. I love that so much. Ouchie. His name's fucking Ouchie. I love that. I love that so much. His name's fucking Ouchie. Oh my fucking god, I love it. I love that. Or should I do like a deep flight, sir? Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for the final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defense in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Wait. Wouldn't it be really bad if I said I do here? Because I shouldn't advocate for my own defense, right? I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Fuck it. Oh no! Did I fuck up? Oh. Why do I look so fucking, like, paranoid? Look at this. Like, he's freaking out. Your Excellency, no confessions as I'm standing here beside the defendant. I hope it's clear. I hate... Why did I click I do? What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? You're a fucking idiot! Mikatoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did. What? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. Excuse me? Can you rephrase that one for me? Huh? I didn't know we were that type of friend. Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikatoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. I both love and hate this guy because he looks so much like Pain and they named him fucking Ouchie. It's such a good name. It's such a good fucking name. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. I look like I don't know where I am, and I've taken just all of the drugs. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Do you see this? Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of that word in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest of standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. That's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. I mean, you shot the guy. You should know. Oh, wait. Ryunosuke, you're an idiot. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. Oh no, oh no. We have the meme item. This is the list of people you collected. Now try switching to people instead. Okay. Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. I always wear it on the collar of my jacket. You'll find details about the victim in here. Just press Z when you go back. This badge proves he's a student. It does. Second year, he's my best friend despite being a student. A qualified defense lawyer as well. A medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and cancer. He's 51? What the fuck? He's 51? Oh my god. The lead prosecutor in this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. The victim of this case, he was visiting a professor of medicine at Yume for the British Empire. Oh, I murdered a British guy. Okay.
Yes!
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. I know because I saw his passport when I shot him. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. I'm just going to try and make his voice sound more annoying as I go along. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. Did that ever happen? It's not, right? Were we ever allies with Japan? I don't think so, right? There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. I like how it's called a friendship. Oh boy. Oh boy. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, I've lost his voice. The blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates. I've completely lost his voice. I don't know. Every time he's on screen, I forget how he sounds. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? Now then, let me pose my next question to you, defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Oh, do I have the autopsy report? The post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 PM and was caused by a loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Can I look at this? No. Wait. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. British, 9th of December, shortly after 2 PM.
Yes!
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot. I struggled to read this word. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, that seems perfectly fine. And not, like, liable to corruption in any form. This so-called fucking crap. This so-called This so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. I thought he had a bang on his head. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet through the bullet hole scorched by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been added to the court record. There's probably going to be some stuff behind him, right? Wait, why is he facing away from the table? I've just noticed he's facing away from the table. Let us start the trial. What was that? He praised the sun. What, did you see that? Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls as first witness who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Yeah. Of course, my name is... oh boy. Satoru Hosunaga. Please tell me I got that one correct. I am the head waiter at a western style restaurant called La Carnival. Are you good, dog? Are you good? You seem to be coughing up some, fucking blood. What? It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Hosunaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. I'm gonna fuck up these two voices real fast. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of the day. The lunchtime rush was over and there were only 3 tables still occupied. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. Kablamo! A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
Oh boy. I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw. You amateur. The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, defendant Naruhodo. If I may continue 1 point, waiter, or if I may confirm 1 point, waiter, standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here today in court, yes? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. Then who was he dining with? That's the real question. What's the matter, Ryunosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I'm gonna interject!
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. Did he not have his glasses on, maybe? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. Ahem. I actually have... Oh, fucking hell. I'm fucking up all the voices. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. I'm fucking up these two voices because they're too similar. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What's that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. So, praise the sun. The court has now heard Bro, what? Hold on, I need to look up this word. A summary or abstract of... So it's a summary, okay. So the court has now heard a precis of the case. Yes. At the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have small reprieve in the terms of your inevitable punishment. I call this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. Yeah, get in there, Kazuma! We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Get him, Kazuma! Get that son of a bitch! Well, you are warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil. We hate that. I hate that for you. In a few short moments from now, that dumb stuck young mouth of yours will be silenced. Forever. The prosecution calls for its next witnesses. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant. Ayesa Noza. Reporting for duty, sir. Ayesa Noza. Does this guy know the girl because his name's Noza? Because he knows her? Please no. Please don't. Myself, I find, employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Karakuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier, what an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident, correct? Well, I guess that. Affirmative! I don't know why I don't know. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. I don't know why he sounds like that now, but he does. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. I don't know why he sounds like this, but he does now. Fucking Dumbo over here. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a technical discussion with the old man. His voice has changed again. I lost it. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. That's wrong. I was on my hands and knees, taking it in the bomb, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Oh, I've lost his voice again. Holy shit. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That we could. I've lost his voice. Cadet, sir. The cruel and unfavorable enemy. I don't know why, but I keep losing certain voices. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. He has a knife. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. I thought perhaps the officer had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, you were still up! Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. Well, this guy's lying. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimonies of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly. The testimony court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to cross-examination. me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? The defense asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Nope. Kazuma is so commanding. He's a top. He's definitely a top. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. Alright then. It's all or nothing. There was such a wet slap. He was like on the fucking table. What the witnesses saw. I should press this, right? I should press everything. And then I should present evidence when I can later.
Yes!
So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative, I saw you. Laughing, cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. That's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Oof. Ah! A double ah! My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul back. How is this guy allowed in a court of law? How is he allowed in a court of law? Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well, he's an idiot. Okay, so I'll press this.
Yes!
I just want to get like more information. I have no idea what you're talking about. A Koban boy. A Koban? You mean an old Edo coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day with said item secreted in my bosom pocket, in the hope of an affluent cognoscent appraised of its indisputable value being present. This guy ate a dictionary before he came. So you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant? Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious Koban. Isn't that so? You little upstart cadet. You want to add a disrespecting superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination. In any case, the honor was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me who was grappling with his braised veal at the time was my sole prospect. I see. Present. I think it's this one.
Yes!
The music stopped, so I assume so. What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Busting some photographic print in my moustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes! There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously. That, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out. Kazuma, help me! Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Or the music change. Kazuma, what are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic... It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Ayesenoza. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? What the fuck? Oh, that's what this is. He has a baby. He has a baby on his back? Oh, that's why he has his hands behind him. He's holding the That's really funny. What the... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, so... What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesenoza, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Ah, that's absurd! I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Oof. Hit him with the ouch! Now you can see the baby! There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just in that one discrepancy. But this is what being an ace attorney is all about. He said it. He said the words. He said ace attorney. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? God, I've lost all the voices. Myself, I have only been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed, the Hoy Erikoban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Razute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoy treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban. The Koban vanished? The hunting around under the table I was, in case it may have... Fucking, this guy speaks like Yoda and it pisses me off. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoy treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoy Kaban was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Also, this guy stole the coin, maybe? As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive revolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels, it must be to the British. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. Ha ha ha! Worry not, Your Excellency. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Naruhodo-kun. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. This guy's voice, he's had like 18 accents. I don't know what I'm doing with him anymore. You're foul. Where'd the pinwheel come from? What is happening? I don't know what I'm doing with his voice anymore. It's gone. It's so far gone. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black, that much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
Objection! If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has a photographic evidence of this fact. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set. Certainly, based on appearance of this print. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the court. A bottle of carbonated water and steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. That's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. So he met her there? I like how he has the same poses as Nick from the future. It's really cool. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. It sucks.
Yes!
I don't know what he sounds like anymore. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, and someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was only past 2 PM when it happened. A quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 PM is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of the day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. At a clinic, yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th of November, noon to past 1 PM. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? Yes, because the meal on the table might not be his.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Oh no, he's a boomer. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report to the court record. The victim's medical record has been added. Okay, cool. Oh wait, look, you can see there's something written on the back. Do you see this? I know he said it's a business card, but I feel like there's gonna be. I feel like something on the other side of this might be relevant. You know, going to be the lamp receipt all over again. Oh god, don't fucking do that shit. I guess I just press everything, right? So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? Let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. There is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea.
Yes!
What's this? Why aren't you telling the truth? Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the guy we proved was fucking lying through his teeth? That guy? Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Oh, this is like really like... It's weird I can't use the mouse. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. And there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical... He couldn't have eaten. He couldn't have eaten food. It's not his food. I knew it would come up. I knew it would come up that there was only one meal. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure, until anesthetic effects have passed. Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular sentence totally changes. So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. This medical report was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. But I can't imagine going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Or if you were dead, there'd be no point, so you don't like doctors then. Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine. They give you painful injections. And then they demand lots of money from you. Oof. That's rough. Well, hey, I mean, if he goes to Britain in this game, he won't have to pay for it. Oh, wait, no, the NHS hasn't been established yet. Never mind. Can I flip this over? I can. Oh my god, he's a fucking investigator. I knew it! I knew it! Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it? It says the witness's name here. Satoru Osunaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. His job? Oh. Chief Inspector Sato Osunaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What the fuck? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they're wielding it somehow here. I like to imagine the entire courtroom just overhearing them bantering about hospitals. It'd be fucking funny. Look here in the upper left, where it says kitchen. Oh yes, what of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen, especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself? Don't you? Study harder, Ryunosuke. Damn! He hit him with a "you're fucking stupid." This.
Yes.
There we go. Let's get this motherfucker. I wish he'd stop putting his hand up like a fucking student. About what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. What a bro! I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that. So purposefully. This guy wants to fuck me. There's so much sexual tension here. You knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Kawakuda-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what... Oh, shit. Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up. Objection! Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But... Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 PM in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's... Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just fucking hit it! Medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pace-fail pupil who could have possibly Oh, he cut him off. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How can it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Horror Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating. It's all written up here in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No! That can't! Okuda-san! What, my boy? What? As you have just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 PM, the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured that the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we know now, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Ah! Well, I like that guy's freak out. Expect we done, partner.
Objection!
What? What is this nonsense, you little upstart? Oh, this music. Oh, it's good. I really like this music. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. The person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! No! No. Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. Uh-oh. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told... Oops. Oh. What? What did you say? Oh, no. You were just following orders? No, hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... You saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What? What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. Now that's almost like a crime. Perjury in an Ace Attorney game? That sounds just wild. Order! Order, counsel! Explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not! The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to keep you make your mouth shut? That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to sound by someone with considerable influence. I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. So the inspector? It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Any ideas about who might be behind this? I do! I know! I figured it out! Let's go! Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... this motherfucker.
Yes!
We got him, boys! Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier.
Objection!
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? The truth about his real identity as proven by this evidence. BAM! The part of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said, the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Dot, 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 dot. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Onosaga-san gets the part of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession. Well, that's surely... Good. Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? I feel like I've nailed his voice now. The Imperial Police Bureau have immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Is he back? Inspector Hosonaga-san? Oh my god, there's 3 of them up here now? Oh, the voices are going to be so bad. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. I like that cheap jab at fucking Gumshoe. Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. I assume he's referring to the thefts. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. We have just heard new information from the 2 witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other person. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Bang! As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But But what if this English woman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. It's the Queen. Like, it's the Queen of England. Inspector Hosunaga, you will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. What? But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the Police Bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Giselle Brett, to the witness stand. At least this court seems to have his head on his shoulders. True. You can tell this judge and future judge aren't related. Because fucking Christ, future judge sucks. He's an idiot. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Wow, this is a very long case. I was expecting the tutorial case to be, like, short, you know? It's longer than I thought. These guards. Is that a JoJo reference? I'm gonna say it before someone else fucking says it. Someone will fucking come in and fucking be like, oh my god, it's JoJo! So this guy's missing coin has to be, like, has to come into play at some point, right? Like the theft? The theft has to come in at some point, I feel like. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. I got bad news for you, boy. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up... Thinking about it, this is his table, right? Why is his chair facing away from it? Like, his body's been moved, right? Because this is on the wrong side of the table. Or they moved this over here. But I feel like this chair is facing away from the table. So have they, like, turned the body around? So if he was shot from the front, he would have been shot from this side of the table. So she would have shot him, right? Because in this, like, if he sat here, why is he facing this way? He would be facing this way, right? So he's been turned around. So I feel like it has to be the woman. The waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside the dining area. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-san. Oh, Sama, sorry. I misread that. Oh no! Get the fuck in here, you cunt! Supreme Court of Judicature. Oh god. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Auchi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations with forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. We will still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders. I think that's supposed to say flounders. Again, terrible sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial? Anxiety over some foreign government's opinions? A bungled investigation? Missing witnesses? Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? I think you're insulting England there as well. Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our great futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert, I'm just a student. And one who could arguably study harder too. I'm standing here now in our Supreme Court. There is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Oof! Burned him! Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats! Thank you, Council. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuit of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Giselle Brett. Yes! Your Excellency! He's a fucking twat, isn't he? What? What is this? Oh no, he's a weirdo. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea! Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Speaking of tea, I'm out of tea at the moment and it sucks. Is that true? It is. No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? I take back my opinion on this, Judge. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosunaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. Yes, we all know about you already. Inspector Hosunaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? I have no idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Oof. Why does she appear to have like a tail on her outfit? So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. Oh no, she doesn't speak Japanese. Oh no. Wait, no, she has to, right? That's really funny, though. That's funny. I love that so much. I'm terribly sorry, my dear, but, what the fuck did you just say to me? Oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. If she can't speak Japanese, he can twist her words. The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in University Medical Facility. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. There's no way she doesn't speak Japanese, right? The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking to the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Give her a mirror, she'll find it real fucking quick. Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. She's got a fucking nice dress, by the way. A nice fucking dress. Order! Order in court! Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. I've lost this guy's voice. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. What? Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you shitting on me right now? Do you see this shit? Hello? Earth the fucking detective? She's wearing a fucking swan on her forehead! Oh my god, Ryunosuke, thank you. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Yes, Your Excellency. I had arranged to meet for a slightly... Oh god. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Okay, so we'll just press everything. We'll press everything. After 2 PM, in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No, it's not even translated. Oh, she hit it with that. No. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems, so it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic! What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. This guy's a fucking twat, and I hate him. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hollow Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you. Oh, do you know what I've just noticed? The bullet wound is here on the left, and the fork is also on the left. She's left-handed. That's what's going to come to light here, is that she's left-handed, I think. Right? Surely. I think that's what's going to come up, is that she's left-handed. Whereas Ryunosuke is right-handed. That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left? That's not true. Dear me, what a harrowing experience. I've travelled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fear that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. It appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. What do you think, Ryunosuke? It's bullshit is what it is. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing? The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Ha! Well sidestepped, counsel. Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. Press this.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did was, when I noticed him, was go over to say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future, we must all... Oh boy. Ouchie! Ouchie. We must all Sapiku Ingarishu! I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, that beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel her testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave.
Yes!
Are we sure about that? It's all very well said that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. Yes, immediately after the incident. I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. Nope. The Honourable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need. What is this courtroom? They let her leave and didn't search her. What do you mean? So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is now totally unfounded lie. I don't know exactly what I have to press here. Well, not press, but present. It has to be this, right?
Yes!
That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is. It's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Attention!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minute details? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Minute details, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table, or are you going to try to tell me? You can clink with only 1. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady just say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. Here's a question. How does she know what we're talking about when he didn't translate it for her? She must speak Japanese. Did you notice that? She understands Japanese, because that was not translated for her. Right? There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in her state of disarray? That's absurd! It is! It's fucking completely absurd! Oh, really? So do we take it you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can't be put down to mischief. She shot a guy. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Nowhere to hide a gun, and she was carrying a handbag? This case has more holes in it than the fucking victim! A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. Hello? Is this court for real? Huh? They're all simps. They're all fucking stupid is the problem. Holy fuck. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the Judge, you went from being so good to being a complete fucking moron when a woman showed up. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? No! If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the fucking handbag? Hello? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Wow, who could have thought, Judge? What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting, Inspector Hosunaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Professor? Prosecutor Archie. Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. But it didn't work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. Well, no! You took... Is he for real? He had multiple witnesses lie in court, hid a witness from the crime scene, and then manipulated the entire crime scene. He's committed perjury like 17 times. What do you mean? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary? In what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. What is this fucking tattoo, by the way? What is this? Is he a fucking gang member? As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, mesh work bags like these are at the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Wah! Oh my god, he's dead. Order! Order! Inspector Hosunaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Is it gonna be that, like, there's two sides of the bag, maybe? No, I assume the gun's just in her fucking hat. Right? It has to be. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, having considered all... Oh, I didn't get to finish. He didn't look at his hand! Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet. This amateur's is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. This is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Where did this come from? Where did this come from? Was this here the entire time? Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. Oh, I failed to see how we can get any new information on this handbag. Is it this? The tattoo? Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? Holy shit, that's ominous. But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Let's just go ahead and save real quick. You will identify for the court where this print received the significant detail to which you have alluded. It has to be this, right?
Yes!
Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost Like a burn of some description. The truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed that out, what I did notice was the colour draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? You have to find some link between that burn and the case. I don't know if you can hear the fireworks in the background, by the way, but they're fucking obnoxious. Holy shit. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the court. The evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Is it the food? Oh, here! I found it!
Yes!
It's the fucking plate! Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But a photograph? Is that being picked up? Holy shit, the fireworks are going fucking insane in the background right now. I hate the 5th of November. But a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here.
Yes!
The beef steak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate. And the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ryunosuke, you genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if that happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosunaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And, although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. If the point was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter!
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosunaga never heard that professor scream, not on the day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, counsel. And the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us, without question, have heard him scream. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? Is it because he was already dead? Because if he was shot and then his hand landed on the plate, or like he reached for like the gun or something, I don't know. On the day in question when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson Yeah, he was already deceased. He was already dead. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot point for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible. If the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Order, please, counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
Objection!
No, Prosecutor Ouchie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. He hit him with a nor you. I beg your pardon? As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? He's doing the finger point thing. Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. What? But Your Excellency! She's going to speak Japanese. The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. This music is fucking good, by the way. Holy shit. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted. She can speak Japanese! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I called that shit! I fucking called it! I knew it. I knew she could speak English, that Japanese, that lying sack of shit. I fucking called it! That fucking lying whore. What a fucking bitch. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? I said it! Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your voice. Oh! That's harsh. That's harsh. Damn. She's not only a murderer, she's racist. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. She's racist! Oh, well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We love your racism. Fucking Christ, this guy is such a simp. He's like, wow, she hates me. I love her. We are truly honoured by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. I see. He's just like, uh-oh. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death beside the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. She's basically admitting to it. Hello? She's admitting to it. That most captivating and beautiful testament will go down in this. What? I hope that this is the last time I have to soil my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. What a bitch. What a fucking bitch. I'm gonna try and go for like a posher voice. May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. What was that? I pray then. Christianity do be quite prevalent in the UK. Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination for now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yeah, I've kind of blended his voice with her voice a little bit on accident. Oh, look at this. The victim's death. Unfortunately, I have no idea what the problem burnt his wrist like that.
Yes!
Liar. But his hand was on the same hot point for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed that. Do you think so? Let me ask you something, boy. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you? What? Yo, she's looking at my dick! Haha, what fun. Damn, what a smug bitch. What a smug fucking bitch. I like it though. I'm into it. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes!
Pushing everything. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember, which explains why he ordered that drink, correct, waiter? Exactly as you say, sir. Although, whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you. Ah, I have enough English to understand that at least, for the benefit of those in the country. You're a fucking idiot, Ouchie. You're such a dumb twat. If there's some other way a man without leaving a trace, please do show me.
Yes!
Press everything. She didn't drink the water. I guess that's why she took the... Oh, that's why she took the glass. Because it has the evidence on it. Oh. Guys, I figured it out. I mean, hello?
Yes!
Oh, she's so guilty. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Right. Like Carnival is up for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. What the fuck was that? Wait, is he dying from the same poison? Oh, is that why he's coughing? Because he took the same thing as the other guy? It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? Aha! A killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful. Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. You mean when the fucking detective started coughing his fucking guts up? What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a clink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosunaga. The detective? Yes. He seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Try pressing out that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. So you can target other people on the bench? Interesting. When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him. He's lost his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What the? What is the meaning of this? God, fucking hold it in, goddamn. He's definitely been poisoned. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. Looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? I would like to speak. She's gonna fucking stab you, dog. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosunaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. What a good guy! He was like an asshole at the start, but now he's like a good guy. I am not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Take this, for example. Ooh. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day, our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. I mean, you're not gonna live to see the fucking day. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Can I examine this? The label was written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. You know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Why do we have French water? And go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. Looks like there's a little left in the bottle. Although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I was having sipping this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. In more ways than one. I wonder if there's anything on the bottom. What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. I just pour the water out.
Yes!
What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to sip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you!
Objection!
This is outrageous to suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rocky imbecile, have you ever considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. Yeah. If I may. I will silence you forever for this No! Wrecked him! It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady. Where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. I'm sorry, my lady, but to what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the Chief Coroner himself. No. No! It's the glass! It's the glass! I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, my dear lady, the pleasure was all ours. It's the fucking glass! This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this room has caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved. Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further evidence to present the court at this point? Yes. Yes. The fucking glass. The glass. It's the fucking glass. It's the glass you removed from the crime scene. Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Hold it!
Hold it!
Yes! Woo! Oh, I need a voice for her now. Wait, hold on. Please wait. We'll try that. Please wait. Isn't that? What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba. Oh god, I can't keep that voice up. Fuck! That word, assistant to the defense. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. To be continued. God, this is a long fucking case. Holy shit. I assume they probably want to make the first trials more interesting as the games went on. I mean, yeah, it's a good fucking trial. Well, I understand you are the assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ha! An assistant and a woman? No, this guy is like an asshole, and he's sexist. The rules state that females are not permitted to do this court of. What the fuck? My guy? Holy fuck! The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. I fully understand. I only ask for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. The trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I would not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful. Oh, I like that. I am most grateful. We'll go with that. Who are you exactly? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. It's Giselle Brett's research. Oh, right, she's a medical... Wait. I'm getting parallels to, Oh my god, I've just realised. This is, like, almost identical to fucking Mia's case. Where fucking... Nick gets fucking... accused of murder, but it was actually poison. Delilah, I think. The English woman's. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right, Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh. No, of course not. Special characteristics of... Curare, and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curare? What's that? I've never heard that word before. Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. Ouchie, you need fucking help. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Sales report has been added to the court record. Goodbye then, and good luck. Holy shit, she has the power of teleportation! You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not. But... Wait, hold on. Let me have a look at this. A poison made from bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Next, instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body poison must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Jesus fucking Christ. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Go ahead and just save real quick before I fuck this one up. Get a quick save in. Yep. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool.
Yes.
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at University, doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. A toxin known as Curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify Curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Oh, this music. So good. Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report says that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspirations are utterly trumpery! Or aspersions, sorry. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain. The other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. Because he was paralyzed! According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all his strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison cause is death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. Sounds fucking horrific, by the way. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. That sounds fucking horrifying, dude. And you're suggesting that this bottle, counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense. Fun fact, curare was used as an anesthetic for some time before being replaced by other drugs. Wait, it's not made up? That's real? Man, fuck that shit. I'm gonna have nightmares about that. That sounds fucking horrifying. Like, I know that there's, like, certain, like, poisons which can, like, do shit like that too, but I didn't know, like, that specific one was fucking... That's fucked up. I would... Fucking... Man, nature's scary. If I may. All these facts. You think you're so clever. She hit him again. Shut up! It is you who must be taught. Can I maintain that voice? Shut up! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? You steal another No, I can't keep that up. You steal another honest's hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime, that really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett? May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? She's gonna drink it because the bottle isn't poisoned, the glass is poisoned. Did you have to show off while pouring that? What an asshole! Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Sorry? Cheers. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Here's a question. Where did the glass come from? Imagine she went, ha, and then she just fucking hit the floor and died. She just like dropped dead on the spot and everyone was like, oh, I guess it was poisoned. Goodness. Whatever is the matter, you all look quite stunned. So, no cure. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? Ha 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 ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratitude with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to be poison in that bottle. So how? How did she... The fucking glass! Or does she have the antidote? I have to think. Okay, so either A, there's no poison in the bottle and the poison was in the glass, or B, she has the solution for it. She has the antidote.
Objection!
Oh, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Brett drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How? Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? It has to be this.
Yes!
Right? The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No? After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest. I'm just reading Sir Sato-san's notes. This report is too extensive to be considered this entirety by the report. You will direct us to the pertinent section council, which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle. Oh! It has to enter through a wound. Okay, I've got it. No, I've got it. I mean, here's the thing, right? That's correct, but also I feel like the practical applications also works, right? Because you can literally, as long as, like, you take it safely, you can take it and still, you know, survive. You know? We've been hearing a lot about this cure poison, and it's left me curious about something. Oh, Council? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of owls that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey. Eat. Get to the point, please! But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council! No, that would be madness! But I actually found the answer to that conundrum. In this research paper here, under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When cure enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effect whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew cure's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking the water without any danger to yourself. Let's go! You meddling little. It's alive! The bird was alive this entire time! What the fuck? Well, Minaske, it turns out the bird is real.
Objection!
Oh, all this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly... Get him! So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy, it only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric suckers. Gastric suckers? What are they? Oh god. So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? That's basic science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? I don't know why, but this voice I'm doing for her sounds familiar to me. Order, order, order in court. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this Curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. Oh no, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do the thing? It's a sort of conviction to break it all down. The discrepancy is sort of almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire. Take down my prey. He's a top. He did the thing! Let's go! I don't think so, Miss Brett. How? How dare you use that tone with me? Oh, it's the music. Oh, it's so good. You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence, as we know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Curare? Is it this?
Take that!
As Ms. Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? I really like this. This is a really funny fucking perspective. The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. Oh, he had the open wound! So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Oh! Oh! I don't know why that made me laugh. Oh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah! So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Heh heh heh. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless. She did that in front of the fucking judge. She did it in front of the entire courtroom. Are people just gonna be like, well, I guess she's innocent? after she smashed the evidence on the floor because it was evidence? Are we just gonna let that slide? I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. What do you mean a blunder? Also, are you ever cut up as much of the water that the broken bottle at once? You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison. And what? There's no shot, right? Like, hello? She shouldn't have been arrested 5 minutes ago. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, you're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right, and really look at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy. That's an insane logic. No, you killed the victim that day, using Q-Rare. And then, in order to frame Unmasking Naruto for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor, while you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. Ha ha ha. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say, and I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is one of the stupidest this is one of the stupidest trials I've ever seen in my life. Are you trying to tell me that a detective lost evidence to the witness and the suspect in a crime who smashed evidence in the court of law and we're letting it go? Forget perjury at this point. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? That's what I want to know. We had her, but now, how? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. True! You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a fucking crazy person. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every colour, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every colour. Oh. Interesting. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head, could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? I can't believe that he spilled ketchup. He missed the steak with the ketchup bottle. It's been nibbling at me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere, the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer is. Gee, I wonder what it could be. It's the fork! He was stabbed to death.
Take that!
Inspector Hosunaga, as you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, a plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. Wait a minute! Where are you going with... Damn, get that motherfucker! Where are you going with this, little boy? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the point that the steak was served on was a splattering of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous! Fabricated nonsense! Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? This... Oh, she's sweating now. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate in the interests of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. What a chad! I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice! Hosunagi, you're such a chad, I would lick the blood from your face if I could. The court wishes to examine the point from the victim's table, immediately. Yes, sir. There's going to be no blood on it, is there? Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't! Quickly, Inspector. The blood man. Show the court. Interesting. It's not there. What does this mean, I wonder? What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. She is so racist. I couldn't agree more in the case of this disgrace to the Empire. I believe we have finally reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch, but I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. A point of steak has been added to the courtroom. Maybe it's upside down. What? No, this is the wrong steak! He said he took 2 pieces of steak. This is the other guy. This is the sergeant's steak. What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoi area, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoi Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of Hoi Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of a bullion in a bullion. I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means this is not the correct steak. This is the wrong steak. I presume any further examination of court in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? I object! Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that reveals the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. The judges are Chad. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beef steak is the new clue to be found?
Got it!
No, Counsel, I'm afraid that... What?
Got it!
What?
Got it!
Huh? I'm confused. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. That's so... It's not even an... It doesn't even tell you down in the bottom right that you can click on it. It just says to present. That's so dumb.
Got it!
That's so dumb. Good gracious. That's... Ah! A Koban? What on earth? A whole year one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beef stick that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Why is there no coin symbol hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat that could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction. Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare holy coin just happens to be underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel. A rare holy coin just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway. Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beef steak is...
Take that!
The old man! Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Korakuta-san. Yuri? As in, Mr. Kumba something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. Then this Hoi Koban, do you mean to tell me? No, please, why would Korakuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beef steak and its plate? It makes no sense!
Yes!
Because it's not his fucking plate. Which is why I'm asking you to bring Korakuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. There's so many fucking... Oh no. Oh no, I don't remember the sergeant's voice either. Help. Oh boy. There's so many people on this fucking stand. Why have I been called up again? Don't you realise that it's dinner time for my little baby idol? Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasute shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korakuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasute memory serves, have you ever seen this come up? What? Oh, it stabbed him in the foot! Yes, that's it! The very exact one, that is! The resplendent, splendiferous, hoary treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be! As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool, put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beef steak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwiched? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate. Who would do such a thing, such an unconscionable thing? I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. Well, that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this Koban is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The police was already at the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid the Koba-san's is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Kokuta-san's Koban and hid it under the steak? It was you, Noza.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Ayesa Noza. What? How? How dare you monster? Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet. But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Wait, what? I just accused a 32-year-old man of a crime, and he blamed it on his, 3-year-old baby. ... You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. ... You. Wah! Wait, what? Oh! Oh! Oh, I would love that for my back, I'm not gonna lie. I would love that for my back. Oh no, it's Ratatouille! Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Isaya Nosa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court. Sir, do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages of the Nippon... Uh-oh. Of the extraordinary low wages that the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even. Which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his Koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. Oh, a veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak as I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Bang! Yes, when the professor was shot. Oh, that was the wrong voice. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I'd know too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it under the steak. Hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady. Of course. How rude of us. I fucking hate this guy. She's not gonna sleep with you. Shut up. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Where's the sun? About. May the esteemed gentlewoman... Oh. May the Oh, fuck. May the... Oh. Yeah. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The theft of the Coban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Yosuke, what's the matter with you? There's no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words that got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett! What is it now, boy? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. Oh, I swap voices on accident. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What you said there explores an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what it is. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? It has to be this. Or this, right? Because this doesn't have the knife and fork with it. I assume what he's getting at is this plate was removed, but the knife and fork is missing.
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett has been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. The steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Does something about the steak strike? It was very Oh, it's not been cut properly. Oh, I get it. It's not been cut properly. Okay, I understand. Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah! Oh! Looks like Miss Brett has realised something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But, what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help it. She's gonna fucking kill you. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, this will be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Just leave everything to... I've heard enough, you irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Fucking boom! What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She's realised the catastrophic implication these teeth marks in the stake have for her. Ryosuke, do you know where you're going with this? It's not her stake! Yes, now at last, it's all come together. Very well. I have a feeling that this will be my last request of the defence in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? I believe it's the inspector, right? Because he said he has both plates.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosunaga. What? I have it. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korakuta's coins, he noticed that he'd slipped it under the steak. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? What's the steak that you put the coin under? In fact, your own steak. Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlewoman if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly, sure you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You did switch the plates? Da 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 da. Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stick and hid the coin underneath it. But then, when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable! However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons on my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's pointy, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if the Sergeant knows to switch the points over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the point it was on back to his own table. Yes, that would follow. Inspector Hosunaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That, to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah! Uh-oh, she's pissed. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat? It can't have the slightest bearing on the case. No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Sure you're not that forgetful. Sure you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided that it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see that point was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from a gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defense memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further, Inspector. You will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and point that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Oh, it's there! The blood stain. It's clearly visible. Look.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Oh, she's breaking down. That's right. Miss Brett! It was you! Uh-oh, breakdown time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, the swan died. Outdone by a Japanese... Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No. No! Oh my god. Where'd the other duck come from? Wait, how many birds does she have in that fucking hat? Was that the ugly duckling? Was that the ugly duckling? What the fuck just happened? She flew! If I had a nickel for every Ace Attorney court case that had someone flying in it, I'd have 3 nickels. And that's too many nickels. They need to stop. They need to stop making people fly. Cut it out. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Yeah, you think? Most unbecoming behaviour for an Englishwoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. She's lied 600 times in this fucking courtroom and broke evidence. How is she still getting to testify? Lock her up! Oh, she's admitting to it. Okay. It was I who took the professor's life using Q-Rare. As you summarized, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water, because Q-Rare is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair so that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Q-Rare in my handbag. And my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There were 2 guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I'd intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, I shot him. Wahahaha. That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he picked up the gun. How did the detective miss the fact that the body had been fucking turned around? How did anyone in the room miss that? There was 2 people in the room with her and neither of them were like, oh, she's turning the body around. And while she was turning the body around, someone was switching the plate on the table. None of these people noticed each other. So there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. That's a fucking way of underselling it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Your Excellency. Yes. I wonder. Guys, we have a problem. Guys, she's gonna get away with it. Might I speak with you in private later? Oh boy. I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. She's gonna get away with it, isn't she? Oh shit, she can teleport. All the women in this game can teleport. They're insane. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement. This can't be! Archie does not lose! Or Ouchie does not lose, sorry. Not to the likes of this rocky student. You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. Ah! Runosuke Naruhodo! Yeah? What's up? This insult to the Ouchie family name would never be forgotten. You become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Is he going to unsheath the sword? I feel like that was a little rude. Did he just assault him in court? Yes, he drew his sword and sliced at the prosecutor 3 times. And no one batted no one made any move, no one did any... This is arguably worse than the whole fucking whip issue in the original trilogy. He pulled a sword on the prosecutor. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Let's go! This court is now adjourned.